Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the book series that I am DNFing here in the beginning of 2024. I have a list of, I believe, 7 series where I have read at least one book in the series and I'm not planning to continue. Pretty much all of these on this list, I'm very confident I'm not going to keep reading them. There might be 1 or 2 where maybe I would be open to it, but these are just realistically series that I don't feel inspired to continue reading. Most of them are mystery series, and it's not necessarily like I hated all of these books, but a series is a big commitment, and so obviously I'm only going to continue the ones that I really am enjoying and feel inspired to continue. So these are the series that you will not see me continue reading in 2024, and I will have another video coming out on a series that I do plan to continue this year. So subscribe and stay tuned for that video. Number 1 on this list, I think this book was the most disappointing out of everything on this list. I am not continuing the Rexford and Sloan mysteries by Andrea Penrose. I read the first book, Murder on Black Swan Lane, and honestly I had really high hopes for this because this is a historical mystery series I've heard a lot of good things about, and the first book did not work for me. This is a series set in Georgian/Regency London. I don't remember if it's technically the Regency or just the Georgian era at large. And so it's following our 2 main characters, the Earl of Rexford and Charlotte Sloan, who is a widow that is taken over her late husband's business as like a political cartoonist. And in the first book, the Earl of Rexford is suspected of a murder, and so he enlists Charlotte Sloan to help him prove his innocence. I really was not feeling this book. The romance, I didn't really like how the author kind of, even though the 2 of them initially hate each other, she does insert these comments like, oh, but he was so gorgeous and things like that. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of that. Secondly, and I think more disappointingly, I didn't really like Charlotte Sloan as a character. I think she was giving borderline not like the other girls vibes. Honestly, I'm not sure if there is a single female character in this book other than Charlotte Sloan. Definitely no other important female characters. It's just her and a bunch of men. That's not really my thing, you know? I don't necessarily like those not like the other girls. I like having books with a lot of different female characters and female relationships. So this was a huge disappointment for me, and I know this is a lot of people's favorite historical mystery series, but I didn't care for the first book and I just don't see myself continuing. I'm also planning to DNF the Captain Lacy Regency mystery series, which I read for the same vlog that I read Rexford and Sloan in. And this one, I liked the first book fine, but I just don't realistically see myself continuing the series. This is a series of Regency historical mysteries following Gabriel Lacy, who is a wounded war veteran who is now back in London, and he is our main sleuth in these series. I liked this book fine, but I didn't love it. The mystery was like okay, not great, and I enjoyed myself while I was reading it, but I just don't see this being a priority for me to continue. Also, I believe that these books are self-published, so it's a little harder for me to get my hands on them since I don't have a Kindle and I don't really like buying books from Amazon if I can help it. So I just don't think I'm going to continue this one. Next, the Nightingale Mysteries by Catherine Shellman. I read the first book, Last Call at the Nightingale, and this is another one where I didn't actively dislike it, but I just don't think I liked it enough to want to make the series a priority. This is a Roaring Twenties mystery that takes place at the Nightingale, which is a sort of underground club. I did like that the main heroine was seemingly bisexual. Obviously, it's the 1920s, so that term is not used. But I did like that representation. I just didn't really connect with any character on a deep level, so it was good, but I don't think I felt the passion for it that I would want to commit to the series. Another book that I read in 2023 was The Murder of Mr Wickham by Claudia Gray, which is the first in a series. She did write a sequel following the characters of Juliet Tilney and Jonathan Darcy from the first book. I don't know if there's going to be more books in the series, but I do not plan to read the sequel. I was really excited for this book. This is a Regency mystery. Well, I guess it's technically not Regency because it takes place later. I guess it's technically Victorian, I think. And so it's following all the main couples from Jane Austen many years later. And Mr. Wickham shows up uninvited to a party where he soon turns up dead. Everybody hates Mr. Wickham. Everybody has a motive to kill him. And so the son of Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy from Pride and Prejudice, he works together with the daughter of Catherine and Henry Tilney from Northanger Abbey, and together they're going to solve the mystery and possibly develop an attraction along the way. I didn't really like how this mystery was resolved, and I felt like the way that the author wrote some of Jane Austen's characters didn't match with how I personally perceive them. I felt like some of her choices were just not how I imagined it. And I liked the two main characters well enough, but I just don't see myself continuing this series, especially since the reveal of the mystery I thought was a disappointment. Now, here is the one series that honestly I do think potentially I could continue, The Elements of Cadence duology by Rebecca Ross. First, it's only a duology, so I only have to read one more book. And I did give the first book 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I remember I didn't totally love where the ending went, but I was having a good time before then. The reason that I'm saying I might DNF this series is because I don't remember the first book all that well. This is a fantasy series that takes place in a Scottish-inspired setting, which I really loved. And I was enjoying the romance between the two main characters. It was kind of like not quite an enemies to lovers, not quite a friends to lovers, sort of a childhood rivals to lovers. I was enjoying the romantic storyline, but I did find the ending very frustrating, and I'm worried that if I were to pick up the second book now, I wouldn't remember enough about the first to really enjoy it. So I would read the second book, but I don't want to have to reread the first one. If any of you out there know of like a spoiler-filled review on YouTube that I can watch to refresh my memory, let me know in the comment section, because I do think maybe I would pick up the sequel if I could just like get a debriefing of the first book to remind myself what happened. Another fantasy series that I am DNFing in 2024 is 3 Dark Crowns by Kendara Blake. I read the first book in this series for my These Books Will Self-Destruct video, and honestly, I went into this book thinking I wasn't gonna like it, it was not my thing anymore, and I didn't hate it. This is a young adult fantasy series following 3 sisters, all princesses, and they have to compete in a fight to the death to determine who will be the next queen. I don't read young adult fantasy anymore. It was something that I was into back when I first joined BookTube, and I just don't vibe with that anymore. So I did enjoy this book more than I was expecting, but not enough to want to continue the series. I also didn't vibe with the Jules POV in this book. I really didn't care for her character, and I found her parts pretty dull, to be honest. So it wasn't as bad as I feared it would be, but I don't see myself continuing this series either. I think the moment has passed. And the final series that I am DNFing in 2024 is the Matthew Shardlake series by C.J. Sansom. This is a very famous historical mystery series set in the Tudor era, and it's following a lawyer named Matthew Shardlake. I love a historical mystery. I love the Tudor era. I just didn't love this book, and this is sort of a case where I don't think there was anything objectively wrong with it. I just think it wasn't my personal taste. I think I enjoy a historical mystery that's maybe a touch lighter, has a nice romantic element to it, and this one just didn't give me that vibe. It's much more of a dark, serious mystery. And I, again, didn't love any of the characters, so I don't really feel like this series is going to be for me, but I think it's definitely a good series if you want something that has that more, like, somber, medieval tone to it. I just personally didn't love it. So everyone, those are all the book series that I am DNFing in 2024. A lot of these, I didn't hate them, I just don't feel like they are the books that I want to devote my limited amount of time to. Please let me know in the comments section, what series are you ditching going into 2024? Like I said, I am also going to film a video talking about the series that I do plan to continue this year, so if you want to see that video when it is posted, definitely subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. And I think that is about it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an outstanding rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.